Welcome back, CSC200 class, to part 3 of our More Presidents queries. And we're going to be focusing on the college column right now and running some queries using that category. And the first thing we'll do is we could just display the colleges and see what the breakdown is, and then we'll start to examine that a little bit more. So I could take one of these things here. I'll take a short one up here, and I'll copy this. And we are going to use a where clause, but right now I'll take that out. I'm just going to say select ID. I don't even need ID here, so I could take out the ID column. I'll do last name, first name, and I'll do college. And it's from presidents. We can even put state if we want. That way we know, did they go to the college from their state? I could maybe throw that in there. I think it says state in there, the state they originated from. I don't know if that really matters or not, but we could put state in there. And if I don't like it, I'll take it out. So we'll have 4 columns. First name, last name, or last name first, however we want to do it. We've been putting last name first, and state, and then college from presidents. And we'll just do that first. I'll get rid of this where clause, and we'll just look at that for now. So I'll copy it, and I cleared my screen here with Control L, and I'll run that. And there's the colleges, and you can see there's duplicate colleges. We can even order by college here to make it look a little bit nicer. And maybe we don't need state. I don't know if state's really helping us here. It's kind of mudding things up right now unless we need state. So I'm just gonna edit this, and I'll get rid of state. And I'll leave college here, and I'll just say order. Remember, usually put the order at the end. I'll say order by college. So it'll do alphabetical order right now when we do college in there. It should. Let's make sure it does that. So we'll try this. And I'll just paste it at the bottom. Hit return, and there it is. So now it's showing all the colleges. And notice there's a bunch of Harvards here. There's a whole bunch of Nuns. And there's a couple military academies, a couple Yales, Williams, and Marys. So we can look at this in a little more detail if we need to break it down with some other queries. Now the first one I'm going to do here is find out who didn't go to college. I find that kind of interesting. I'll just paste this again, and last name, first name, and we could list college here, and I'll say where, because we're not going to order it, we're just going to find one. I'm going to say where, and we'll use our column, and it has to be spelled with a capital C. And you could use equals, and in quotes, we'll put none. And make sure it's exactly like it is here. And what I mean is a capital N, so it has a capital N on it. So we'll make sure we do that. And it is in quotes, so we'll find all the ones that are none and see how many presidents didn't attend college or graduate from college. And it displays that there's 11. And George Washington didn't, and obviously it's a lot of the early ones, not any of the recent ones, but some of them were lawyers and things like that, where maybe they didn't need to go to college, where they had some certification. So we have 11 of them, and it would be nice to know what their occupation was. If they didn't go to college, well, what did they do? Were they a lawyer? What were they? So I can just edit this again, and I could just add another column. I'll do it before college, and I'll just put occupation, because I think that's what they call it, but I'll double check. I'll look up here and just make sure I have, look at my big table again at the very top and make sure it says occupation, and it's over there, and it's occupation with a capital O. So I have that, so I'll go back to the bottom of where I was and go back here. So I am using occupation, so I'm using last name, first name, occupation, college, where college equals none, and I'll see what they did. And George Washington was a planter, and we have lawyers, we have military, we have businessman, which I guess Trump would be that when we add Trump to our list. So we have an editor. So they were all doing something that didn't require college in some way. Now, one thing I'm going to try now is to look at all the colleges and find out how many went to certain ones, because there was a bunch at Harvard, there was a bunch there. Now, we could do queries for each one to say, oh, if it equals this and equals that, but we're going to try to count things, and we're also going to do the group by, because you remember from Grover Cleveland that if you had duplicates, you can actually group by. And then we can actually count them. So that's what we're going to do next. So I'll see if I can use some of this to start. And I'm going to use last name, first name. I guess I could keep first name. I don't need occupation right now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to group by. Instead of where, we're going to group by. And that kind of will almost hide them. So we're going to group by. And if we just did group by right now, that wouldn't really help us too much. So I'm going to group by college. Because if I just ran this, and you could run this just to try it out. So I have last name, first name, college, and I have presidents grouped by college. So if I did this, let's just see what happens. It doesn't hurt to try it out. And this is getting rid of all of the duplicates, but that doesn't help us. It doesn't really, and it's hiding all the ones that are underneath. So it's not really showing how many went to certain college. So that doesn't help us. So we're going to use something called a count function. And if you go to W3 Schools and you have to look through the functions, MySQL functions down here, and then if you go through the string functions, it's actually a numeric function, so it's under count. So you can kind of check it out there. And this is not always the best resource because it didn't show the one with an asterisk. There's one with an asterisk, which I'll show you, but we can use this one that actually we use a count. It's all like a function if you've used in other programming languages, and the function is count, and you're going to put the column in there so it counts the ones, and we're usually going to use that with group by. So we're going to count the college. So what we're going to do in here is we're going to add another column that's going to be called count, and you can do this, or you can put the column name in there. Now, I think the difference is if you put college in there, you won't have any null values. This will count null values, but if you put college in there, it won't. So we could put college in there. So we're going to count college, and you might say, well, why are we doing that again? We already have college. Well, we're going to have the last name, the first name, the college, and then we're going to have another column that's going to list the count because that's what we want. So we need a column that does that. Now you could put it as a different name. You could call it, number of colleges or something like that, but I'm going to leave it like this for now. And it's from presidents, and I still have to keep that group by college. So what I might do here is move this on a different line just to make it easier to read. So from presidents, group by college, and let's see what happens when we try this out. We're going to see if we get any errors, anything like that. So I'm going to go in here and I'll put my returns. I'll start it from the beginning again. Control L. And I'll paste in my query, and I'm looking at it visually, everything looks okay. And what we have is actually what we want. We have last name, we have first name. Maybe we don't need first name, although if if it's a different bush or something like that, that may be helpful. And now we have a count. Notice they're saying 11 none. They're saying 3 from William and Mary, 3 from Yale. I think there's 5 from Harvard. So that's what it's showing. And you can see we could change this column name if we want. We could say graduating presidents or something. So we could do that. And, having who graduated there doesn't really help because notice it's showing George Washington under none, and he's just the first of that group. So having the president's name doesn't really help. What helps is showing college, and then maybe having this called graduating presidents. Princeton can say they had 2 graduates, or Harvard could say they have 5 presidents from their college because that's the most. So let's go back and see how we could do that. So I'll just copy this again in case I need my previous one. And it's nice to keep a record of what you're doing here too. Now, we don't need last name or first name because they're not help. We're just counting the college. And then if you want to do as, remember you could use the as statement, and you could say as, and in quotes, because it'll be 2 words, I'll put graduating or graduated. So that column's going to read like that, and we're still going to group by college. So I'll try that quick. We're going to do something else as well, but I'll try that and see what that looks like. And there it is, except, and you can see there's 11 from none, except what would be nice is to have the top ones at the top to change the order of that. So we know how to do that. We can say order by, but what would we order by? Well, let's look at this. We have group by college, and we can say order by. Now, what we're ordering by is not necessarily the college, because that would put it in alphabetical order. We want to order it by the count, and we want to have the highest count first. So we're going to say order by, and we could just say count college, because that's the column there. And we're going to use the original column name. We're not going to put the as one. We're going to put the original column name that it's using because it's basically using the column name in a function. So we're still using that kind of official name there. And we're going to order that by that, and we're going to say descending because we want the most at the top. So the one with 11 would be none, and then the ones below that will be after that. So we still have none. We don't actually have colleges because we have none in there. So we might have to find a way to filter out none if we can. So I'll try this out, see how this works, make sure I don't have any errors. So again, we're gonna make, there should be 2 columns, a college and then a count with numbers, and now we're gonna order them by the count. And it should say president graduates up there. So we'll see how that works. So I'll put this down here, paste it, and that's what I want. Now it's showing 11 up here. It's showing the ones that are none. So there could be some way we could filter out the ones that have none, and there could even be ones that we filter out ones that are less than 2, because they don't really help, although it's nice to see the whole list there. Now let's see if we can take out the ones that have 1 here and just have the multiple colleges where they have multiple people. How would we do that? Now, based on what we know already, you would think we'd put in a where clause, but actually you don't, because if you try it, it doesn't work. So after group by college, this is where you could typically put in a where count college. See if this will work. Where count college is greater than 1. So that'll take away all the ones that are at 1. So let's see if we could do this. Where count college is greater than 1. Where count college is greater than 1. So it should be 2 and above there. So let's see if this works. If we use a where clause, that seems like it would work. That seems logical. So I'll paste that in here. And we get an error. It doesn't like it. And I had to do some searching, and it wasn't easy. And what they use is something called having. If you just put having, and it's because we're using the group by in here, if you put having in here, and you probably won't even see that. I haven't looked in W3 Schools to see if it's here, but they don't always have everything in there. And I had to search around for it, so I don't know if that's here. But I'm telling you, if you use having in here, and I only looked it up because I wanted to do it. I thought, boy, it'd be nice to have just the ones that aren't 1, if you could limit that. So let's see how this works. It's by using having in there, having count. And I'll put it down here, I'll paste it. And that's actually what I want, because it has the 5, the 3, the 3, and 2. So it doesn't have all the ones that are just 1, where 1 president was from there. So these are the top colleges. Now, I didn't even try this yet, but if you want to see if you can get rid of the ones that are none, can you do that? Now, I haven't even tried that, so the first thing I would think is putting an and here, having count. See, I don't know if having will even work with college. Like logically, you would say where college equals, you would use something like that. That would be the logical kind of way to do it. I don't know if I have it in the right order. Now I have having this, and would it be having again? Would I use where? I'm not sure. I would think I would use where and where college equals none. Now, I don't even know if this is going to work. I'm just trying it out right now. And if it doesn't work, I'll just stop, because I'm not going to keep experimenting while you're watching the video. But let's see what happens. And it doesn't like it. And maybe if I move this where college equals, oh, that would be not equal to anyway. That would be one thing. I would not want to have that, where college equals none. And I don't even know if I'd want it there. I mean, maybe I can filter it out ahead of time. Now, I don't know. I'm going to try this one time, and then we can do it later. It could be part of your challenge. I'll put where college equals none, and then group by college and all that. I still don't think it doesn't like using where with the group by. But I'll see what happens. Maybe it'll work. And that worked. So now I know. So if it went any further, I would have stopped, but now I had to use the where clause right after presidents, and then the having clause has to go after the group just to use that. So I'll have to make sure I copy and paste this so I remember to do that, because I didn't try this out ahead of time. But that's actually what I want, so that's good. I'm happy about doing that and doing it live on video. So I was able to eliminate all the ones that were greater than 1, and I was able to eliminate all the ones, instead of just looking for 11, eliminate all the groups that where college was none, because those aren't really colleges. And that doesn't really fit into our list here. So we're able to do that. So that's pretty cool. So we were able to use a where clause to say where college is not equal to none. We were able to group by college, and then with this group thing, we had to use having the count be greater than 1. This is like a little anomaly that we don't use all the time, and I haven't even seen it before, but that worked out okay. So that was a pretty cool query to do that, and that'll be a good place to stop. And then look on your instructions, because I'll have a special challenge for you that'll be based on the things that we've done here. So these are kind of practice things for you to do, and then I'll have a challenge on the instructions after I get finished editing the videos and posting them for you. And also remember that when you're done here, you could certainly save this, and you can leave this open. You don't have to do anything. You could just leave it open if you have another console open, because then just put a comment in this assignment for number 2, and I'll be able to see it, and I'll look at it right away once I see the comment. Some people will email me and say it's there, or I'll just look in your comment. But you can leave it open there. You have 2 consoles you could leave open, so you could always close another one and have this open. Or like I said, you could copy and paste this code. And you have all your original code here too in a separate file called working code. so you have some backups of all the stuff you did. And it's also nice to write some comments in to know what you've done after doing it too. So I might have to go back and throw some comments in here as well. And that's it for part 3.